My name is Demir. I'm a deployment specialist here at Steelhead. Today, I'll be covering this month's masterclass on inventory management. Um, we're going to start off with the demo. Stephanie got caught up in something, and so hopefully she'll join in the back half of this meeting where we can ask her a bunch of questions. But to start it off, inventory management. So, like I said, we're going to kick off the demo right away. So starting off, just explaining inventory. We start off with the hierarchy, which is our inventory types. These are just your high-level categories for any kind of organization. In this demo, I set up, paint and powder. And then within an inventory type, you have your specific inventory items. In this case, I threw in a couple RAL powders. And then if you go within an inventory item, you will have inventory batches, which are individual shipments or orders tracked with a lot number, date, and location. Oop, I see Stephanie join.
Yeah.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hi.
Should I continue the demo or should we go back to the questions here?
Let's continue. Morgan said you were going to continue and that we will cover the questions at the end.
Perfect. All right, I'll get through this then. Thank you. All right, so yeah, we have our individual batches, and then within a batch, you can have multiple containers with all these batches here. So starting off, let's just real quickly go through adding a new inventory item. The example I wanted to do is, let's say we're going to add a RAL 208 orange, whatever color. You can come through here. You can add descriptions. What kind of unit is this? These are going to be typically in pounds. Default depletion unit, pounds. And then you kind of have target stock level, which is your desired quantity on hand. So if you always want to be at 500 pounds, you can just put 500 pounds. And the difference between target stock level and alert threshold, the alert threshold triggers the low inventory warning. So if there's nothing here, you won't see a low inventory alert. So if our low inventory here is 100, and we can follow through and we can kind of just, each inventory item typically is unique. So tracking mode, you can auto deplete or select batches, depletion amount mode. These are all just personal preferences. We can set default lead times. And so the way that works is if you have a current stock of 20 pounds, let's say, and your target stock level is 15 and your alert threshold is 10, and then you set your default lead time, let's say 14 days, and you have a sales order due on June 15th that requires 15 units. Steelhead calculates backwards 14 days from June 15th, June 1st, and determines on June 1st lead time you need to order inventory. And then kind of go through here, you got shelf life, set a location to it. And typically you're going to want to have a 1-to-1 ratio with your treatments. So in this case, a treatment would be the exact same as the RAL 2008. That way, the benefits of having this 1-to-1 ratio is you can have accurate inventory tracking per work order, automatic depletion as parts are processed, better forecasting of material needs, cost tracking tied to specific treatments, etc. I'm not going to do that here. I'll do a different example, but you can also tie a vendor to it and then set your initial net quantity, say 400. Okay. So now you have created your inventory item. Let's go within the inventory item. I'm going to use my example of, we'll do the graphite black for now. I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to add a batch and show what that looks like. So here we can add a lot number. Let's just do random number 54. We could set an expiration date. That can be calculated from the shelf life as well too. We could tie a vendor to it, our cost per, in this case, cost per pound or cost per unit, whatever that may be. Say it's $2. This is going to be important for my predictive inventory usage showing this specific gravity. So powders often have specific gravity. If you have an inventory item that needs a custom input that we could tie into predictive usage, we could put that here. So let's say the specific gravity here is 1.5. Now we can add container names. So in this case, let's say we want box 1, and we'll do 3 containers. Box 2 and box 3. Each one of these have a quantity of 45 pounds in them. Gross quantity, that's if you have tear offsets. If it comes in a big crate and you just want to throw it all in there. You can set locations. You could change the owner. So if customer buys it, you could change that here. I'll hit save. And now when we come within this batch here, we can do multiple things. So you can see our batch containers, 1, 2, 3, 45 pounds. You can touch the batch, and that just records that the batch was manually reviewed or accessed at whatever date. Deplete it from here. You can move the location of the batch. You can audit its quantity. You can change batch owner. So if your customer is going to assume the cost of it or whatever that situation may be, you could assign to a sales order. You could place on a quality hold over here. So, all right, now I'm going to show inventory management. Let's go to here. And first thing I want to showcase is, let's say we tie this inventory item to a job, it runs through, and we deplete the batch. And our threshold on this one here is, got to set one. Oh, no, our threshold is 20 pounds, target stock. Let's change that to 500. Okay, so now let's deplete this batch. Right now we have 135 pounds. Let's say I deplete this batch, and let's say, oh, we just used 130 pounds. We got 5 pounds remaining. I'm just going to deplete it to a random station. Save. So now my amount remaining is significantly lower, or just lower in general, than my alert threshold of 20 pounds over here. So multiple ways you can cut a purchase order from here. If you cut it straight from inventory, you can do that right here. And it'll pull you to your low inventory. Or go back to inventory. You will get an alert now that it's below the threshold. So it highlights it red, hey, you need more powder, or you need more of this inventory item. If you get into inventory management, you can see it from here as well on hand, your alert threshold, low inventory control. This will navigate to the purchasing page, which it will navigate you immediately to need to order. So you can order it from here as well. And I'll go over ordering inventory at the very end. Next, one last thing I want to kind of showcase here is our predictive inventory. So if I set, we'll do beige brown as an example. The item will set a 10-pound alert threshold. One has a specific gravity of 3. I'm going to add a quick batch to it. We'll say we got 200 pounds. There, save. All right, so now, for those of you that have never used predictive inventory, you kind of create a formula with certain custom inputs. So when you do a new order, say ABC Manufacturing, I'll do a test part here. I'll select my beige brown, and I'll come in here, select my beige brown, and I'll run my predictive inventory that I pulled from a different sales order that's active right now. I'll run my predictive inventory by setting the surface area, mill thickness, transfer efficiency. This is a very specific powder calculation. If I run it, it's going to say, hey, it's 0.62 pounds per part here. I hit save. And I'll say my quantity is, so I'm going to do 1,000 of these parts here. I'll create a predictive inventory usage. I'll run the usage function, save, and then save. And now I will get a low inventory alert. So what that does is it just takes obviously the quantity and your predictive inventory usage formula per part, and now it'll show your alerted items up here. My predictive inventory usage is 624 pounds, which leaves my projected stock 200 minus that of negative 424. If you do the sale, if you enter orders and do purchase orders, you can do it straight from this page, or you can just go to the low inventory page as well, and select include projected demand, and you can see your projected stock here, and you can create a purchase order straight from this page as well. When you issue a PO for this, it'll automatically default to either your alert threshold or if you have a target stock. So if your target stock is 1,000 pounds, I think this one here is 500 or whatever it may be. This quantity will automatically be set to our target stock. So that's one unique function there. And then of course, save and issue PO. And then, a month goes by or a week goes by, you get your item, go into receiving, inventory on order. And then you'll just receive this inventory item back, create its batch information, save. And now your inventory for that specific beige is back to where you need to be. And that is my inventory demo.
Demir, we do have one question from Nick.
Yeah.
Is there a way to have the receiver document show up in the inventory batch this way you don't have to do more clicking?
Have the receiver document show up in the batch, you said?
Correct. Show up in the inventory batch.
I'm not sure.
I can kind of touch on that a little bit, actually. So when I'm in the receiving process from my PO, that PO number is automatically linked to batch. So when you go to receive that specific item and you're creating your batch or individual boxes for that, it will automatically have that linked in there. So if after you're done receiving and you click your save, if you were to go back into that specific item or product, it will actually link you right back to the purchase order.
Thank you. Were there any more questions? I guess I could look myself.
Nope, just a question about the session being recorded, which, yes, it is being recorded and it will be sent out to all of you afterwards. Oh,
Perfect.
Looks like something came in from Nick. But it does not show the cert if you do not need to have one. Looks like that was maybe a comment.
Okay.
Other than that, I think those are all
Nick,
the
I'll reach out
questions.
to you after this and we can kind of go over it. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you, Nick. Okay, so I'm also joined by Stephanie Milner. She manages purchasing and sales support at JIT Powder Coating. And we'll do a quick little 10 to 15-minute Q&A here with Stephanie about her experience at JIT, how she uses inventory and what works well for her. Then we'll wrap this up. If you have any questions, please still drop them in the chat and we'll make sure we answer them. So welcome, Stephanie. Thank you for joining. Can you start off by introducing yourself and how long you've been with JIT and tell us a little bit about your role with that company?
So my name is Stephanie Milner. I'm actually second generation at JIT Powder Coating. So I've been here for about 12 years in my current role now. I am involved in everyday inventory. Everything about inventory I touch at some point in some way, shape, or form. That includes cutting the purchase orders, creating any tags for things, the whole shebang. I touch every part of it.
Nice. So you work heavily in inventory. What's been working well for your team so far?
The biggest change that Steelhead made for us was traceability. and knowing where powder is and that I actually have it. Um, it it's very easy to do automatic inventory updates. You can assign locations to different boxes. We have a lot fewer missing boxes, so there's not as many times where I'm having people search around for things that we might not actually have in the building anymore.
Mm,
Um, it's Another big highlight is the fact that it's usable in Spanish. So I have a lot of Hispanic coworkers who are able to switch the language preferences over into Spanish. So it solves tons of problems with miscommunication there as well.
hmm.
I would say overall, it's a very easy to use system. I love the QR code traceability. I love being able to search for anything at any given time and be able to see exactly what I have in the house.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean the time savings alone has been just incredible for us.
Awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So, I mean, what did inventory look like prior to Steelhead, and how has Steelhead really changed that for you guys?
We were very archaic.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm going back to people writing down what products they're using on a piece of paper and handing me sheets of paper every day to try and pull from a generic database, almost like an Excel spreadsheet
Hmm.
of what they were using on a daily basis. So, in this regards, having the immediate updates is night and day difference.
Hmm. That's awesome. Great to hear. Yeah. I mean, I think one of my favorite things about being a deployment specialist is going on site and seeing old inventory, and then you flash about a week later and you see the new inventory and how cleaned up it is, and it looks amazing. So,
Well, and I'm not gonna lie, I touched every box in this building
yeah.
in the switchover process.
Yeah.
So I mean, I learned a lot as I went, and it was pretty easy to get it done. And I was able, for a company that paints any color on the planet, I was able to get it all entered and ready to go in a matter of days,
Hmm.
which could have taken forever.
It's awesome. Yeah. Touching every box, that must be fun. So,
It was a learning experience.
yeah. So, I mean, what having a clean inventory, why is that so important?
Um, for us, it's knowing what's in the building and actually having the right pricing associated with it. So I mean, have a much better idea of what we are spending on powder, what we're currently carrying for pricing at the end of the month. I mean, I can do my month end for powder in a matter of seconds, whereas before it probably took me all day.
Wow. It's awesome. It's great to hear. And you mentioned something about it's Spanish friendly, or if there's a language barrier, and have you been able to train others easily on your daily or weekly inventory tasks?
Very, very much so. In fact, my inventory specialist guy,
Hmm.
English is not his first language. He is a Spanish speaker,
Okay.
and so having the ability to translate it directly into Spanish has improved the way we've been able to work together as well, because there's no longer, the miscommunication of, well, maybe I didn't say this right, or maybe this doesn't translate well, because he can physically see it in his own language and be able
Hmm.
to ask questions and use it in Spanish.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When inventory triggers a reorder, who cuts the PO, and how long does that typically take?
That is also me. So I'm
Okay.
in charge of all the ordering as well.
Hmm.
Matter of seconds. Having it set up for low inventory control, the notifications are automatic. Um,
Hmm.
if from that low inventory alert page, you can cut a PO by clicking just the plus sign and move on with your
Hmm.
life and typing it in. It will tell you how much you need to order in order to get back to your baseline. I mean, you couldn't have made it easier.
Awesome. And do you feel like that helps, handle rush orders or one-off purchases that fall outside the like reorder flow?
For the most part, yeah, I'm going to say yes. We're we're very open into whatever our customer needs, we're willing to acquire. So I do
Mm,
buy a lot of custom colors and things that are specialized or one-off you would consider. And honestly, it's very easy to get it entered. It's very easy to keep track of it. Um, very few times that I have issues with that regard.
nice. Yeah. So, kind of, if you don't mind, just walk me through what happens when the shipment hits your dock, and step by step what that looks like in Steelhead.
So from my perspective, I will receive a physical copy of the packing slip from the boxes. I am taking that packing slip. I am doing just a generic search. Your guys' search bar is great because you can look up anything that way. So whether I want to look it up by PO number, if I want to look it up by paint code, if I want to look it up by description, all of those are available to me.
Mhm.
I tend to use my purchase order number as that's the quickest way to get there.
Hmm.
That will automatically bring me into what I would consider your guys' basic purchase order screen, which will, with one click, I'm in in the receiving screen. As you guys saw, kind of with the demo, you can receive either one box at a time, you can receive multiple boxes at a time. Um, it's very efficient.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of jumping back and forth between pages.
Hmm.
It's easy to set deadlines on things. So if you know you're expecting a box in 20 some days, I have it set up so that it will tell me that, hey, you haven't gotten this yet. And it just allows for more traceability as well
Yeah.
from that angle.
Awesome. Awesome to hear. Only
But
good things
yeah.
in life.
So anyway, once I have everything entered,
Yeah.
then we are printing individual QR codes. Every box is receiving its own individual QR code. Um, we usually include lot numbers of boxes,
Hmm.
expiration dates on powder if I have them, and any little piece of information that you could think of. You can find a way to get it in there.
Hmm.
Um, then I can either hand off those stickers to somebody else to go put on them, or I can run out there myself and just bam, stick them on there.
Hmm.
And the inventory updates automatically. So it's once you receive it, it's in your system.
Hmm. Yeah. No, it's super smooth, and yeah, like you're saying, very friendly, and I I do personally
Streamlined.
enjoy. Yeah,
It's very
streamlined.
streamlined.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you when you order comes in, let's say, and the vendor ships you short or sends the wrong product, if this has happened, how do you handle that?
Um, well, I do buy a lot of custom colors, and with buying purchasing custom colors, you usually get a 10 to 15% over under.
Hmm.
I adjust them before I receive. So at that moment, when I see on my packing slip that, hey, I ordered 100 pounds, I only received 98, I automatically go into my purchase order, edit that specific line to what I actually have, and
Hmm.
then go through the receiving process. And that seems to work out great for me.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Makes sense. Yeah. And
There are
again,
very few times that I get wrong products. If I do, I wouldn't receive them anyway.
good. Yeah. No, it'd be a nightmare. Yeah. But all right. Final question. Have you guys utilized predictive inventory at all?
We are in the process of switching over to your entire system.
Okay.
When I originally started, we were just looking for an inventory solution,
Hmm.
and this was the best solution at the time that I was able to come across. Definitely helped us. I'm in the process of getting it all entered in so that we can start using the predictive usage.
Perfect.
It's definitely a feature that I would like to continue with in the future.
Hmm.
It's definitely been a learning curve in trying to get treatments matched up to inventory items. But again, it's a matter of 2 clicks. And
Yeah.
the number of clicks that we have to use in your system is far fewer than I've seen in others. And that was a big selling point for us is we do not want to have a lot of people doing multiple clicks because it leaves more room for error.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, leaves a lot of room for error. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. Those were phenomenal answers, and um, Really you made us feel good over here at Steelhead with those answers. So thank you.
You made my job easier. So, and that was the whole point, was to make my job easier.
Yeah, there you go. We'll take that's a great trade-off there then. Yeah. All right. I do want to cycle back to one quick question on covering adjusting inventory batches. Let me share my screen real quickly. So the relatively newer feature that came out about a month ago. If you're in inventory and you come up here to the top to inventory management, first page here is an item view based on your inventory. I only have 3 items in here. But newer feature is our batch view up here. If you use this up here, you can kind of, if you know your batch number, you can just look it up here. We could add tags if you have certain specs that are applied to these inventory items. Expiring soon, you kind of have, these are all based on those expiry dates used on a work order, on hold, etc. We can kind of go through here. Requires resolution. That's like if there's a certain spec tied to it and doesn't pass quality or whatever it may be. But yeah, to answer your question on adjusting them, you just come in here, open the batch, and kind of go through what I went over earlier on adjusting it throughout here. Are there any more questions? Couple seconds here. Well, if not, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Stephanie, for your time. Thanks, Morgan, for putting this together, and I think we are all set.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Demir.
having me.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
Stephanie.
All right, everyone have a great one.